Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Podfathers, the best parenting podcast in the universe, tolerated by Barstool Sports. It's your pal Clem here. We got the big man down in Jersey, Chaps down in Tejas, and we are back for another week. We got a little rundown coming up here. We have this will be an interesting story we have from one Ann M from the fancy part of New Jersey submitted to the podcast. We got some mailbags. We got Am I the Asshole coming back for another week. And we got some show and tell Father's Day edition. How are we doing, boys? Big man, let's start with you. How are you doing down there?
Oh, so good. You know how if you look on your phone, it's like there's pictures. It'll always do like an on this day.
Mm-hmm.
It just everyone's phone does it, right? And so I'm obviously no it puts it like to music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Every now and again they'll show a picture of our oldest who's going away to college,
Mm-hmm.
and then and he starts crying. So this is a very, very mixed. Last day of school is tomorrow. Last day of high school graduation rather. So as I say, it's high school graduation, and this thing is hanging over us like it's putting a lot of weight on the relationship and on the family. Finn's emotional about it. Bridge, like Finn didn't do well on one of his his finals, and I said, Finn, your freshman year, we're trying to figure everything out. High school's a puzzle. You figure out the classes. Now this is your first finals. You'll learn from it. Next thing, it's totally fine. He's like, yeah, plus next year I won't be thinking about Mick leaving and stuff. I'm like, oh,
I like that.
Nice,
wait a second. So he added the little overhang.
Just torn up. I mean, when I was sitting there in algebra, I was like, my brother's going, man.
Yeah. Our relationship has been so geometric.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna have to find a Pythagorean theory to figure this thing out.
So it's so that's what we're doing. Look at this. Pit crew is here swapping out.
Wow.
Swapping out keyboards right now. So I'm back, and so just emotional time at the McCarthy household right now.
Yeah, for the little behind the scenes, every time we log on to get the podcast going, Large complains about 2 to 3 things in his workstation not working, and then Annie, without being asked, just comes in and like a pit group, just zzz, keyboard gets charged, mouse gets fixed, new microphone gets swapped in and out. It's an absolutely incredible thing to watch.
When Large is podcasting, Annie is basically fucking like Gary on Veep. Where she swings in and tells him something in his ear, like, this is what you're going to need to know about this next couple things, and that's just the way they go down.
And then
I left the door open because I was telling you guys I had to do a quick thing with the kids before I came in for one of their projects. So I left the door open. I said, sweetheart, I just don't have time. Can you make me a cup of tea? So I left the door so that she was able to hear through it. But otherwise, it does seem like I have a pit crew.
Absolutely incredible. Daddy boy, what's going on down in Texas?
Oh, nothing. We had a great Father's Day down here. It was a good time, man. Like just hanging out. I think that's the best part about my new house is like the backyard is so much better. For holidays and get-togethers, we don't even think about what we're gonna do. We just go in the backyard, throw on some music, have a couple fucking whistle pigs, and just chill. It's great.
So that wasn't the case at the old place. It's just a new place thing.
No, because remember when we lived there for the longest time, the backyard sucked. Like it was small. I lived in a very McMansion type neighborhood here where it's just these shotgun neighborhoods that go up super fast. I think they took like 48 days to build my house that was like 3,000 square feet, nothing timing wise. And in the backyard, everything was dead. Well, during pandemic time, we built up everything. I put like a shed back there. We had the stock tank pool. I built the privacy wall from my bitch ass neighbors. Like we did all that work. And then they put up apartment building like right behind the house. Luckily, we got out of there before it was built. Those poor suckers that bought our old house, though. I feel so bad for them.
Oh.
I drove by there. Dude, right behind the fence of our old house is a 4-story apartment complex. And in San Antonio, that's not common. So we have a nice neighborhood. And then the apartment building must start like 6 feet from the back fence. So if I was in my backyard at my old house, I'd have people from the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor just looking straight down and everything. I would have been miserable there. Miserable.
Yeah, there's something to be said about like you don't realize how great privacy is until you no longer have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up in the burbs and everything is, everyone's on an acre. You can't really see in. But when my wife lived in the city, You just were surrounded. There you had like the one above ground pool in Queens, and this whatever creeps wanted just like the larges. You usually look just like large, just staring down at you as you're out there in 95-degree with humidity heat. Actually, Large, you had a pool too back in the day, right in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, my dad, when we were young, had built we lived in Brooklyn. Our house was connected. We were in a row house. So we were the last one on the left-hand side of the row. And then the one that was on the far right ended at Burnett Street. So even though we were the last one, the row houses that then went down the other street weren't connected to mine. So we came out this way, then they went down that way, which meant we had a yard. We were the only people that had a side yard, which was huge. And our side yard was essentially the backyard of the houses that went down Stewart Street. So, and Stewart Street is where Nikita Good grew up.
That's right. Yep.
Down the block. Yeah. So we had room in there, but no one had in the ground pools. One person did, Anthony Maranzano. We used to go by there all the time. So one day my dad just bought and put out like vermiculite and all that stuff and just built an above the ground 4-foot high 18-foot round pool in the thing. Like my dad poured the concrete for like a little gazebo thing in it, like dropped a pole and did all that stuff for like a little basketball hoop. It was one of those Brooklyn yards. It was just packed with everything, So at the end of the day, there was like 4 square feet of grass around all this shit that we put together. So yeah, we had a 4-foot pool, probably
smart though, because then you don't have to do hardly any yard work. You just bring out the weed eater and that's it.
And that's why I've never cut a lawn in my life. So and there was a little Hitler's mustache down the front of the house, in between his house and the sidewalk in the street. There was that little, patch of grass that people used to walk their dogs on. But yeah, I had a 4-foot high, 18-foot round above the ground pool for probably 4 or 5 years of my youth. And I used to skim that thing like I was a pool boy in Monte Carlo. You know what I mean? Like, I would be out there by myself running in circles till I got to be a whirlpool. Mm-hmm. And you let your fat body just take the buoyancy around like a marshmallow going down the fucking toilet.
Your own little lazy river.
Yeah. Oh, what a dad move that is. Just one day being like, I'm going to go build an 18 round. My pool would light on fire if I tried to build one by myself. And Papa McCarthy, shout out to the fucking legend, which I remember he looked like Ric Flair. We had that one picture of him we used back in the day in the blog. An absolute legend.
Legend.
That fucker Joey Langone, speaking of legends, just logged on to the podcast. I just wrapped up my Father's Day being nowhere near my children. I was 3 hours away in the beautiful town, I guess, city of Newport, Rhode Island. Whew, Large, I'll tell you, I don't understand why you robbed all those people to make all that money. It's nice living like a rich person for a couple of days.
Whoa.
Holy shit. Unbelievable. Great place. I recommend Chapsy's doing it in a couple of weeks for his birthday. I recommend everyone just ditch their kids for like at least 2 days after the last couple of years, especially. It's not about sleeping. It's about not having to wake up. That was the best part of this trip. We just could just stay in bed however long or shorter we wanted and do whatever the hell we wanted without 2 kids barreling down the door, yelling at us. At this point, like, I think after the pandemic, everyone's like, my company doesn't care about me as much as I care about my company. Go out, have some fun, take a couple of days off, do whatever you have to do. Get the fuck out of there. It was absolutely incredible. Large, did you ever go to the Vanderbilt mansion, the Breakers, they call it?
No, I've never been to Annie's been, but I've never been to the Breakers, no.
Awe-inspiring.
Lovely.
It's awe-inspiring. Built in 1897, I believe, 1896 it was built. It is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. In the Gilded Ages, I learned a lot of shit. Your boy Clem got a little smarter there. And Cornelius Vanderbilt II built it. Just an absolute disgusting amount of wealth. It is something. It's like being in like a castle. There's no other way to describe it. But
I gotta say, kudos to Clem, man. He's got the new MacBook. He's got fucking Bose headphones now. He went up to Newport. He's going on a second vacation back down to Delaware. My guy is on the come up. I mean, the last 3 years, what we've seen happen with Clem has just been phenomenal. It's unbelievable.
Don't you forget what else has been going on underneath the surface, though, because the reason we're recording this early, why are we recording this early today, Chapsy? Because Sienna has a half day. Every single day of the week, Sienna has a half day.
Just cancel it. Like I made an executive decision in our house with Cardi's school we're not going on half days anymore. We're just not going. Like, they're not doing anything. They're going around to different classes for 20 minutes. They're playing puzzles and shit. Cardi's school is like a 30-minute drive one way for us to go drop them off and pick them up. Half day, not happening, dude. McCartney's staying home.
I was thinking the same thing with Sienna. The thing is, Sienna is so obsessed with like being around her friends, and this is like the last week she's going to be in this class. But that's the way to go about it for now on. Half days, no, we're just not doing it. It's just
end of the year. I think is a little bit different because they're going to be super sad about not seeing their friends and missing out on last day parties. But these half days in October, get them out of here. I'm done with them. I'm not doing it anymore. You
just become the Grandpa Simpson meme where you leave the door, you come back in, and you're just picking up kids for fucking your entire morning. It's fucking absurd.
My boys were on the cusp of, hey, no more missing a class here or there. Like you have a certain threshold. So they were all at that. They were all at that cusp. So they couldn't miss any classes going into year end. But Bridge never missed any classes. Even when she was doing the acting gig, she was always doing the online stuff. So it's the last week, and her schedule on Friday was that gym was going to be her first class. And then that was the last gym that she was going to have. And then this week's classes, gym wasn't the first one. So we were talking about her just sleeping in and missing gym. So I got up that day to get the kids out. And then I said, should I get Bridget up? She wants to miss. And Annie says, she says she wants to miss gym, but tell her it's the last gym class of the year. So there may be something special. So I go into her room and I said, hey, Bridge, you want to sleep in and miss gym? Yes. Like, I get one of those from the thing and then she rolls over. I said, all right, I just want you to know, Mom said you may be missing something special because it's the last one. And she thought for a second. She was like, well, you tell Mom it's just gym class. I was like, holy shit. And she's not, she's snarky, like sometimes diva-esque. But when it comes to her sleep, whoa. Like, it was the best news in the world to sleep in for an hour. Some kids, Mick already set up his schedule for a first semester at Bama, and he took mostly morning classes. Mick's up at 6:20 every morning, boom, 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 boom. That's just his way. But Finn and Bridget, whoa, you give them the extra first period off or something like that. It's a blessing. It's a mitzvah.
Dude, that's why I loved when I got out of the Marines and went back to school. All of my classes, I made sure I could start the very first class of the day. I was done by like 10 a.m. most days and back hanging out and chilling with Cardi and Annalise when Annalise was on like maternity leave and stuff like that.
I don't blame Finn for wanting to sleep. And he's like, Pa, I had a 3 a.m. emergency pipe bust that I had to fix. Just give me an extra hour here. Even if it's gym, I'm going to miss having this one today, Pa. He always calls you Pa in my mind, too. That's like an old Finn thing that he would do. We're going to get in some stories from one Ann McCarthy sent this one in. And before we do that, though, we're going to get into the right frame of mind for a story like this. We're going to get some 3-Chee. We're going to dip into the 3-Chee. It is the federally legal version of THC and a more functional alternative to marijuana. Everyone here has their favorites. Big Man is the brownie guy, which I love about you. Chapsy, is it the gummies or the vapes or both? Because I think you kind of.
I like the vapes.
You like the
and the gummies. I take a gummy every night before I fall asleep.
Gummy every night before you go to sleep keeps Chapsy happy, and then I do the vapes as well. You skip to the dispensary and get THC delivered right to your door. Goddamn kids these days don't know how good they have it. Internet at your fingertips. THC delivered right to your door. And they have a sale going on exclusively for Barstool listeners. You visit 3chi.com. That's the number 3chi.com and use promo code STOOL5 to take 5% off your order and get a free Canafan flag sticker. Again, you're getting the gummies, the vapes, the edibles, the drink enhancers, and it's something that'll give you an amazing buzz and great body feel, but with a clear head and less anxiety and paranoia than your typical marijuana. Must be 21 to purchase. And again, this ain't CBD. This is the stuff that's going to make you be feeling good head to toe. Again, so get 5% off all products at 3chi.com and a free Canafan flag sticker with promo code STOOL5, STOOL5. And Large just
if you aren't watching on YouTube, you're making a huge mistake. Annie just brought in a tray that looked like it could be from a fucking French restaurant. We're talking about honey, brought in an organic honey thing, got his tea. What is that, an almond croissant that you have there?
No, Stu Leonard's is now making French toast muffin tops.
Well, there you go. Should have known.
Did she cut it for you too?
Yeah,
She cut the muffin top for you.
Jesus Christ.
Number one thing to take from this podcast: find yourself a spouse like Annie McCarthy. That's the one.
Ain't too many out there.
There ain't many. Yeah.
Yeah, I use agave. I don't use sugar or honey because honey has a little bit more of an aftertaste. So
You should use honey with your allergies. Use a little local honey; it'll help you out.
Get out of here. Is that true?
I swear to God, yeah, because they use the local pollen and things like that, so it goes into your system, and it helps you with allergies.
Oh, it's like having a little bit of venom every day.
Yeah,
build it up.
It's an anti-venom for pollen.
I never fucking knew that. That makes 100% sense.
You have to get one within 100 miles of where you live. Typically, is how it'll be most effective.
Get out! Oh wow, Bon Jovi has an aviary.
Little teaspoon a day, tablespoon a day, and you're good.
Oh, look at that, Chapsy. I will check that out. Everyone's like stinging nettle. I don't know if you ever heard of stinging nettle.
I have, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so supposedly that's it. My brother does apple cider vinegar every morning. A shot of the raw Bragg's. I just want to mix it. Does a shot of it every day, and it
makes my eyes burn thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about going on a little bit of a binge with that thing too. Yeah. So, but. Like I woke up, I slept in today, and so then I was doing stuff with the kids, so I didn't have time to make my tea. So so I got a little breakfast in bed type thing with you boys.
Didn't have time to make his tea. Good thing he has a woman like Annie to take care of him.
What is she doing? Right? All I'd pay her back in dick.
In dick. That's how you got the your what's it called paid for too, right? Your student loans. That was basically
that's right.
That. It was
correct.
Dick
so good.
Nights
of steady horse pounding, and all of a sudden I'm debt free.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a lesson to you boys.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of which, I can't sing her praise enough because she gave us the first story. I had to put this one on the pod just because it hits home here. Police on Long Island are investigating a cookie hustle involving a father-daughter duo who police believe went door-to-door asking for money on the spot and promising to deliver Girl Scout cookie orders.
That's you.
I am not on Long Island. The problem is Suffolk County police say the pair took their money in advance but never delivered. This guy, Mr. Zukowski, he said back in April, a friendly girl about 5 or 6 years old approached. He gave her $20 and ordered 4 boxes while a man who said he was the girl's father stayed on the street smoking. Police now believe the father-daughter were running a cookie scam that stretched from, I love these fucking
they're great.
Lake Ronkonkoma, Bohemia, Patchogue, Shirley to Mastic. The Girl Scouts of Suffolk County are urging all victims to file a police report, and they're also promising to honor all bogus orders for people because they were trying to support a good cause and get their favorite cookies. Listen, I'm the fucking I am the father of the Girl Scout cookie queen of the Hudson Valley. Some would even call me the Girl Scout cookie baron of the Hudson Valley.
King.
Let's call it what it is,
King.
right? Mm-hmm. I tip my cap to this motherfucker making this move because you know what? No one knows you're not supposed to pay for the cookies until they get delivered. If someone said, hey, $20 for some Samoas and Thin Mints, I would just hand over the money. This could be the next Frank Abagnale, Francis Abagnale, basically, we have working down here. Respect the game, respect the hustle. I don't like people getting swindled at, nothing better than when you pay for that Girl Scout cookie, knowing that in a few months they're just going to magically appear in your door when you need them the most. But goddamn, this is a hell of a scheme right here.
This is, I think the people who complain, they go to the bottom of the poor rankings right away. Who the fuck remembers that you spent $20 several weeks ago on Girl Scout cookies? Like that's going to, and how do you track them down? Would you get a fucking business card to get these cookies? Like, this is the honor system. I don't understand this family at all. Credit to the scammers. That's a good scam. Like if you can scam this way, because in reality, nobody got hurt here. We're talking $20. Nobody really got hurt.
I like the fact that you got a kid involved. Maybe this could have been a well-placed dwarf also, which would have upped the ante just a little bit, right? And made this an even sexier story.
Like that one at the whenever it was trying to get on a bus in New York. Remember?
Right, yeah.
The person was trying to get on a bus. And everybody thought it was the kid, and the guy's like throwing this little person across because he's wearing like a Lego backpack or something.
Right. And plus, I love, when particularly Long Island newspapers, when they do these exposés, the problem is Wait, what is that the thing? While a man who said he was the girl's father stayed on the street smoking. Like, that's awesome. Who's in the background?
And he claimed to be
darts.
the father. He's not. We're not sure if he actually was.
It's ripping darts. Yeah, so he rented a dwarf for the day and probably made himself a couple of grand. I like.
And it's probably going to be featured on like Barstool Idol. Like, it's one of the contestants on Barstool Idol was with
yeah. Oh, that would be great if it was like Nick Tarani with Za doing it.
Yeah. By the way, I you can't really tell based on just looking at them, but are there any dads on the Barstool Idol? Because I was trying to figure out who I was going to put my support behind, but I don't know if there's any dads on there. I feel like everyone's
the guy from the
looking.
Kirk show looks older, so he might
could be a dad. I could put my support.
But most of them
him.
look very, very young.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers lookalike guy might have been old enough to be a dad.
The big guy Luke, he took the snack. He was reviewing snacks, so he's coming on my corner right off the jump.
Rough.
I don't know if I
that was rough.
I don't know if I could root for him.
Brutal.
Yeah,
a lot of those are brutal.
If he starts selling Girl Scout cookies, it's fucking on. I'll take down the entire yak if they hire him. I'll come in at Big Cat first.
Well, didn't he get kicked off last night? Wasn't he one of those?
Oh, I don't know. I fell asleep.
Yeah. I'm not sure
no spoilers. By the time this is launched, it'll be, I think the idol will have been announced. So, and large, by the time this is announced, the graduation will have occurred. And Mick is already, he's a full grown man. Yeah. Moving on to we got some mailbags coming in here. Podfathers show at barstoolsports.com or on Instagram or Twitter, DM our boy Joey Langone. This first one was a parenting hack. I had to put it into, because I think we might have mentioned something similar. So I was listening to the news Podfathers, and Large mentioned the confetti cannons. What was that for? That was the birthday party, right, Large?
Yes.
Here's a parenting hack I learned from my mom. When I was a kid, my parents would have a big 4th of July barbecue, and they always had a water balloon fight. Once we finished, my mom would then have a part 2 to the game. $5 to whoever picked up the most water balloon shards. Worked like a charm. P.S. My pregnant wife is pregnant with our first child in September, a boy, James Matthew. James Matthew. What do we think about that one, Chapsy?
I don't like it, honestly. I don't think it flows. I don't like it when the middle name is longer than the first name.
Syllable
I'm a big fan of that. Matthew James, I think, would be fine. But James Matthew, I feel like is just a little. Matthew there seems more like a last name.
I could hear that.
You could be James Matthews stepping up to the plate like that, and I think that makes sense.
Kind of sounds like Dave Matthews too, but I guess you're not really saying the middle name all that much. Large, did you do this with Acorns or Chapsy? One of you guys did this with Acorns back in the day, right?
Yeah.
I always have like little races if there's going to be something to clean up. It was when the kids would come over to my old house, and we had like the thing that Kevin just put in his yard, the big blow up water slide or whatever. You have to clean those out completely. You always have a race to have. Anytime something needs to be picked up, pine cones, we did it recently in my neighborhood with pine cones out in the front yard, or not pine cones, the little magnolia bulbs or whatever those are, because we have a huge magnolia tree. I don't know if I've even told you guys about that.
Ooh,
enormous.
Okay. This was something I wanted to bring up, and I didn't know how I was going to get into the show. But this is something I've noticed myself. About 5 years ago is when I really got into birds. Big birding guy, obviously. Me and Large, part of the Barstool Bird Club.
Avid birders.
Chaps, still, I'm unsure if he's really in the Barstool Birding Club or if he's.
I have multiple birdhouses, Clem. This is unbelievable that you try to kick me out of here. I sent a picture this morning of a cardinal that we have named Gravy and his wife Biscuit. They're a little group that they have together. That they
elite naming, man.
We name all the birds. We have. You want me to tell you the names of the birds that we have?
Please. Yes, please.
We have Biscuit and Gravy, who is a cardinal. Biscuit is the red one, like the male. It's the red one, and then Gravy is the more gray color one. Then we have a yellow bird. I don't know exactly what kind of bird it is. I haven't been able to figure it out. That one's name is Suzy Q. Then we have a bunch of bats. We have Ricky and Steve, the bats that come out and fuck with me at night whenever I'm doing nighttime swimming. And then we have all kinds of squirrels. We have Gary and Rick, the squirrels that come around and do all kinds of shit. They're a gay couple. They're wonderful. They have a nice little baby squirrel that they keep in the backyard too. The gray squirrel, kind of fluffy and black too. And the other two are brown. I don't know if it's adopted. I'm not sure.
I have okay. You're not only in the bird crew again, the bird watching crew, but you're in the animal crew, which is a crew of mine as well. Because naming the animals is the extra distance. Whenever a blue jay or cardinal comes, I name them after one of the current or former blue jay and cardinals that played. We have a little baby fox in the back that we've named Bob, obviously after my nerdy buddy Robbie. AJ names every fucking animal he sees pineapple, which is kind of weird, and but I love it. It's such an outrageous name. So Chapsy, you're back in. However, again, became a big animal guy, big bird guy. I've now become a plant and tree guy as well. I had a taxi to the airport a few weeks ago when I went for the dozen, and the taxi driver just started talking about how he had some new he was planting some new trees. I go, hey buddy, tell me about these. Ooh, what do we have here, Chapsy? A cactus?
Every time I've been going to Trader Joe's the last couple of weeks, I've been picking up one of their what are they called?
Succulents.
Yeah, so I got this little cactus. I got that one. This is not show and tell.
This is our early show and tell right now for everyone who's watching on the
this
YouTube.
One and a little bird. See? Bird guy.
Yep.
And I got this one.
Great radio. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful, Chapsy. So you have a magnolia tree. I mean, I'm still reeling from my dogwood that got taken down about 5 years ago from a really bad storm. But I stumbled upon every morning I would walk to the bus with Sienna to drop her off, and I'd smell something that smelled like Pez, the most delightful smell in the world. And I went to get them. I took a picture. Yeah, better than the cum trees are back out. You guys be smelling the cum trees? The cum trees.
We don't have them down here. No, thank God.
No, I haven't smelled a cum tree. I don't think ever. What's the semen tree? I don't know.
You've never smelled a cum tree before. I find that hard to believe, sir.
If you smash an ant with your thumb and smell your thumb, it smells like blue cheese. That's as far as I know.
Interesting as well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go find an ant as soon as we're done.
Right. There's a cum tree.
Yeah, it smells like a nice fresh load of cum coming right into your nose. It's kind of I wouldn't say delightful. It just wakes you up and go, whoa, there's some cum in the air right now. But I don't know the name of the tree that is the cum tree, but it is most certainly.
I've heard about it. Kate talks about the cum tree quite a bit. Our guy Joey Langone just put in the chat that dog's paws smell like Fritos.
100%.
At the dog trainer, I know why. Do you guys know why?
I think I do, chaps, but and it's the reason that they also do this. Like, people think they're trying to bury their shit. Don't they have like glands in their paws that they try to mark their territory more so than bury their shit? They try to rub off that scent, or am I out of my fucking mind? Please,
you're out of your mind on that one. That's not what it is. Dogs don't sweat, but they do have yeast like that they get rid of. The yeast pockets that they come out of are at the bottom of their paws, and the bottom of the paws is the only spot that dogs can sweat too. So when they do sweat there, the yeast packets that get filled up in the little glands on their toes will start to stink whenever so if your dog gets really hot, their paws will smell more like Fritos because it's activated.
Wow. I did not know that.
It's a very informative
podcast.
Oh,
by the way, Annie, remember I had the dog on last week? Me and Chapsy just lifted up our dogs randomly, and O'Shea needed a haircut. He's like, so we can't get a groomer. Groomers, by the way, are all millionaires, apparently. They must all be millionaires. They're backed up for weeks. So Annie's like, which one of these aren't you using? I said, I use them all, but, take one of the manscapers. She went in the backyard with O'Shea. What she did to my poor boy. I mean, chaps, I'm thinking about putting him down. He looks like he has hair cancer. It's awful what she did. Spotty and nicked. Oh my God, it's the fucking worst. I'll send you pictures.
Call Stu Feiner. He says that he has a guy that'll come to the end of his road. Like, you just go over there and have a steak.
I've called everybody, and there's no last minute. I was like, listen, please, you're saving this dog's life. I'm embarrassed to walk him. I don't walk him anymore. I walk in blue cheese now, and I hate her. Yeah. Maybe that's why she sent me breakfast. She absolutely ruined my dog.
And by the dogs, speaking of dogs, Baby Dale has completely changed my dog life. I was never really a little dog guy. I mean, being around Belgian Malinois and Dutch Shepherd and German Shepherds for so long, I just love big dogs. One, because you can correct them differently. The protectors and things like that. But I love fucking Baby Dale so much. I let him sleep in the bed. And I never, ever thought I would be a dog in the bed guy. And now I don't kick him out. Like, I call him up there to hang out. He snuggles up like right against my arm. occasionally in the middle of the night, I feel like he has almost nightmares. So he'll wake up at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, lick my face a couple times, and then go back and like nest back into the blankets again. It's fantastic. Having a little dog is the best.
I've never had a dog, but a little dog guy. You would never strike me as a little dog guy, chaps. Oh yeah, that's a bad look. We'll get that we'll put that somewhere.
I just sent you 2 pictures. Oof. He's in a bad way.
He's trying.
Yeah.
He looks like a dog at a nursing home, like where at some point he had a really great life, but it's kind of behind him now.
Joey says he looks like Lal Lovett.
He does.
We'll put it for the people watching on the YouTube. We'll throw some pictures of O'Shea up here. All this picture.
Look at the back one. Can you throw the other one up?
The other one is real bad.
Let me throw the back one up now too.
By the way, she was unable. He finally put his paw down and said, "You're not doing." So the tail is totally untouched. Look at that one leg; it's all fucking mangy. It's absolutely terrible.
Maybe should we create Dogscaped?
Maybe.
What's that?
It's Manscaped for dogs.
I think we'd have a better chance of having a Floby for dogs.
Yes. Some sort of. All right, we're gonna have to cut this from the podcast because I don't want Barstool making a dime off this. They try to kill us already. They're not going to get our fucking money off of that. Fuck that. By the way, Large, I'm going to get you. I know what you're getting for your next birthday. A Bradford pear tree. That is the cum tree. So we're learning a lot of new stuff today here on the podcast. The Bradford pear tree is the cum tree. Wake up in the morning in the fall. There's enough fucking tree semen flying in the air and pollen, and then you get yourself an actual smell of human semen.
Look at this poor bastard.
Poor guy.
Remember how handsome he was last week? Mm-hmm. He doesn't even have confidence. He won't even look at you in the eye.
He can't.
He won't look. He won't.
He won't.
Look.
Oh, my goodness.
She left his beard, but otherwise, poor bastard. Huh?
How old is O'Shea?
36. No, he's
nice.
like 7 years old. Like, you know what I mean? I feel so bad for this son of a bitch. Right? Look, he's giving me a little bit of a growl. All right.
We should lean into it and be the dog podcast of Barstool too. At some point, they have to the numbers have to add up before the dog people and the dad people. I don't think people could possibly say no to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go on to the question here. This one comes from Cade. And before we get to that, though, we're going to tell you about what to do if your yard is not looking great this point in the summer. We've talked about the trees growing, the plants growing. By the way, I'm getting myself some honeysuckles. That was the whole point of that story.
Oh.
I'm getting myself some honeysuckles. I put a picture online and everyone told me how great they are. You can even drink the nectar. So that sounds absolutely delightful. So
yeah, and you can get specific honey from people that I swear to God, I'll show it to you right now. There's different types of honey that you can get from bees that are strictly from one type of plant. So
we're off the rails here.
We're off the rails.
I have this one. I have honey that was only made from blueberry bushes.
That's good.
Pollinate blueberry bushes. Lars, this next one is really going to throw you for a goddamn loop. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Anybody know where Cape May is?
Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah, so we got Cape May local honey here that was done on wildflowers only.
Really?
I don't think I'd like wildflower honey. It just seems a little too eccentric.
Butterbean.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I could fuck with butterbean. Definitely could fuck with butterbean. This is
the last one that I have. I got like 20 more jars of honey, but check this out. Cranberry blossoms.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Chaps, you ever hear of Manuka honey?
No.
That's my dad takes. It's supposed to be like one of my again, my brothers and my dad don't go to doctors that often. That's not true. My dad's getting a new knee this week. So shout out to Connie Mack. He's need some thoughts and prayers. And but yeah, Manuka honey. It's supposed to be like anti-inflammatory and all that kind of stuff. It's right along blackstrap molasses, Manuka honey, cayenne pepper, and unfiltered apple cider vinegar, raw apple cider vinegar. That's a staple with my older brother and my dad.
What's a staple at my house is Sunday because I like to have my grass green.
Let's
exactly.
go.
And that if you want to get your grass green, you got to use Sunday. Sunday helps you grow a beautiful lawn, control pests, and fight weeds without the toxic stuff. That's right. They use the good stuff. Seaweed, iron, molasses, stuff you can put on your lawn, and you don't have to worry about your kids running on it. You don't have to worry about your dog that has his legs shaved, and it's basically skin to grass at this point. You don't have to worry about him running on it either. And their custom lawn care plan is effective and super easy. All you do, go to getsunday.com. Put in your address, see the big old Google map picture of your yard, and their lawn analysis tool will do the rest. You send them some soil, they test it, they do the climate data of your area, they create a personal nutrient plan, again, delivered right to your door when you need it. Back in the day, you'd have to go to the grass store. I don't know where the fuck you buy this stuff. You can't buy it anywhere else. You're going to buy it on Sunday. And Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off. Full season plans start at just $129. And you get 20% off when you visit getsunday.com/podfather at checkout. Again, that's singular. Podfather. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/podfather, singular Podfather. This Podfather today, Chapsy, because that was a perfect transition right there, my friend. Mm-hmm. And I am a proud Sunday user, to the point where I say it all the time. My wife goes, why does that part of the yard not look good and everything else does? And I go, honey, that's because I ran out of my Sunday product there. I busted my wad a little too early. Very common thing in my life, unfortunately. But our pals at Sunday, they make your yard look great. So again, getsunday.com/podfather. This question comes from Cade. I believe Chaps has said in the past he lets his kids cuss. Can confirm. How do you teach them to know the appropriate setting? My son is 4 and uses the word damn appropriately on the golf course. It's hilarious and all the guys love it. But if he says it at preschool, my wife is going to kill me.
I think we have like different rules for different people. And I think that that's essentially society. Like there's certain things that you can say out in public that you can't say at home. And you have to learn those steps. And so we always kind of talk to McCartney was the primary culprit. Like you could do it at home, but you can't do it around grandma. You can't do it around Nana. You can't do it around school. You can't do it at church. You can't do it at places like that. But at home you can, because at home is where you're going to be the most relaxed and things like that. And a lot of it was just because it was essentially like that guy at the golf course where it's funny to me. So that's the reason why it stuck around a lot. McCartney dropped something and was like, motherfucker, when they were like 3 years old. And I was like, this is unbelievable content. I got to keep this up. It was great.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. It's the same thing with like whatever your vice is that you allow the kids to do. Like, so when we're down in the beach, like every now and again, if we're having dinner and Finn's like, hey, Dad, we're sitting around the thing, I'll pour him a shot glass full of beer, full of beer. 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, now about 15 years old. And I'll be like, Finn, listen, you could sit here with us and just sip on that, for a while. It's just a luxury because you're here with people that you trust, your uncle, me, your mom, and stuff like that. But it's a luxury. If you take advantage of it or ask me for another one or do something like that. But he likes to talk with adults, so I'd let him do that with a beer. And it was the cutest thing in the world. And he never took advantage of it. It was never like, give me more, or, or anything like that. And I think that's the same way. If it's a luxury for these kids that, you can take away at any time, if they do it in mass, then that's the way to go. They treat it like something that's fucking that you're allowing them to do, right?
And it's something they'll remember as being fun. Like, oh, when I was sitting around, we'd have these little drinks. And I think it also makes them hesitant if you let them try stuff that that they're not going to like red wine. We went out to this nice Italian restaurant and we had to-go cups. And one of the carafes of wine, the guy put it in like a to-go cup for us to go. Cardi thought that it was Sprite, stuck the straw in it, took a big rip of it after eating like a cheese pizza or something like that. Next thing you know, McCartney's like, oh my God, what is this? This is disgusting. It was like this whole scene at the restaurant. And now when I'm like, McCartney, you want some wine? Like, no. And I told you guys, I still think my most brilliant parenting move so far is when Kelsey would see me drink any beers. I'd be like, I can't take you anywhere. Like if I had 2 beers, I can't drive. I can't do anything, to make her think my dad's been drinking for a long time. He's 200 pounds. If he can't do it, certainly I can't drive whenever I've had 2 beers.
Yeah, that's genius.
I thought you were going to use the fish stick story. I thought that was someone brought that up the other day on Twitter, and I was like, oh man, the early days of Podfathers, we got intense. It was wild. So yeah, those are two good answers. Again, I don't really have much experience with it yet. There is something great about when your kid just drops the line at the perfect time, a good motherfucker or something like that.
I teach kids, like if I'm around a kid whose parents I don't like, I try to, hey, can you watch Baby for a little bit? Yeah, sure. And I'm like, cunt. So that's totally separate. I try to teach those kids that world.
But it does get a little bit. Sometimes you feel like maybe I've gone too far. I was picking Cardi up from the YMCA the other day, and been asking like how, because it just started, like the camp just started. How was camp today? What'd you guys do? And McCartney goes, there's this kid, we were playing soccer. I just don't like the kid. And I'm like, why? What's wrong with the kid? Cardi goes, I don't know. Just has like douche vibes.
Yes. That's fucking incredible.
And I'll tell you, Thomas the Tank Engine, the train engine, his best friend is a green train whose name is Percy. And Finn, it's like the way kids say, hey, can I have more Pischetti? Or, whatever the hell they say. Finn used to not be able to say Percy. He used to call him Pussy. So I'd be like, Finn, do you like Thomas? Or what do you like? He's like, oh, I love pussy. I'm like, yeah, like you'd be like, hold on 1 second. Mom, Dad, come here. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Finn, now what, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, would you rather him if he was in the dirt or after he had a bet? Oh, I like clean pussy. I'm like, yeah, like constantly.
Oh my God, he said it.
That's the shit you try to get. Oh, look, I'm using like we still have camcorders. Camcorders.
Oh God.
Yeah. You want to paint them black? No.
Large, I'm not very good at editing yet, and I have to do all the editing for the podcast, so please continue yourself.
Yeah, it really is half the story.
I will say, I was talking to Robbie Fox the other day. We were talking about the first time you drank, and he said the first time he drank, his parents gave him tequila. So I think that is the perfect way. Introduce your kids to alcohol with tequila, and they will not want to try alcohol for years.
Or heroin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At that point. And now we're going to roll on to the Am I the Asshole portion of the show. This kind of goes along with the mailbags. This one was a doozy. And again, I go into all these, not believing these could actually be real people, but we'll see. Am I the asshole for walking out on my boyfriend after he made a list of all the people that comes first in his life? My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 years. I'll call him B. 26-year-old boy, 25-year-old female. Last weekend, she was at her boyfriend's apartment. They were on the couch watching TV, and they were playing a game. He was watching a TV show, and they made a list of all the people in his life in order in terms of importance. He took out his phone, and this was the list: mom, dad, brother, sister 1, sister 2, uncle, aunt, grandma 1, grandpa 1, grandpa 2, best friend 1, best friend 2, best friend 3, best friend 4, and then the girlfriend. So right there, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're looking, she's basically 14.
Oh my God. I was going to say this depends on how long they've been together. They've been dating 3.5 years.
3.5
years.
You got there. If you're in a relationship for that long with somebody and they have a list of 10 people and you're that old, like, and you're in your 20s, you're done with the relationship. You got to be done. You can't be with somebody that views you as that level of priority. Can't. Best friend number 4, who's been friends with for less time. You got to be shitting me. Yeah. This lady has no self-esteem at all. Yes, you're the asshole for sticking with an asshole that doesn't care about you.
So she also says, she also wants to say that they've been saving up for a down payment on a house together. Take your money back. Take his money while you're at it if you want. Do not. He's the asshole. You're the asshole if you stay with him. He's the asshole, or just a fucking crazy person. Do you almost give him credit for being honest, though?
Oh, my God, Clem. Did you see the rest of it?
Yeah, well, you can continue if you want. Continue the story.
This bitch is fucking this guy's unbelievable. He said that after realizing it wasn't a joke, I just stood there in silence processing what I've been told. After about 45 seconds of us both just being silent, I asked him to show me the list, and he did. The title of it was, quote, "If a house was burning down and everyone I'm close to is in there, In what order would I save them? I was in complete shock that I put the phone down and walked out. He's been texting me what's the big problem. I haven't replied to him and haven't told anyone about this. Just want to put it out there. My biggest advice there is, if you do, for some ungodly reason, if you are so fucking stupid that you decide to stay in this relationship, you absolutely cannot tell your parents that he said this, because at that point, they will hate him for the rest of his natural life. I would. If one of my kids' partners said something like that about them, I might take them out to the pool and drown them. Honest to God, I just might. Fuck them. Can't. No way.
What you should do, I don't know if this is illegal, what I'm about to say. You invite all the people that's on his list, even the people behind you, 20 or so people, have them over to the house, a nice little barbecue. Then everyone's in there and everyone's having a good time. And they go, "What's that smell?" It's gasoline. Light the match, throw it. You're on the outside and go, "All right, asshole, let's see which ones you're going to save first." And you just watch the entire fucking thing go down.
Go get best friend 3 and 4, you piece of shit.
Cunt. You fucking cunt. Male
Big
cunt.
Time bomb,
male
yeah.
cunt? What's a male cunt? Is a male cunt just a cunt? A month?
Okay.
Large, what do you think about this entire situation here?
I think when you guys get into a relationship and you get serious with it, one of the things is whether or not you choose your mother over your girlfriend, your mother over your fiance, your mother over your wife, your mother over the mother of your own kids. Like, there is that inflection point, right? Where there's always a battle between the person who raised you and the person who brings you Stu Leonard muffin tops, right? And then at one point, your wife will naturally overtake your mom. So when I talk about my core 5, I mean Annie and the 3 kids. And then if I branch it out, it becomes a core 7 with my mom and my dad. And then maybe my brothers after that. But now it's like Annie and I have not the conversation, but wondering, is it me or the kids? Do you know, like that's it. I mean, everything happens when you're going to go into a relationship where you're going to spend the rest of your life with your people. You got to start circling the wagons pretty fucking soon. And if you're the 14th wagon, you know what I mean? The one on the outside, it's the easiest thing in the world to fucking walk away. That person is not helping you out, down the road, is not like a partner. If the 2-year 4th best friend is anywhere near you on that fucking list, much less ahead of you, this guy, and I think this guy is trying to send her a message that he wants to break up, because this is probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen a guy do, right? Like, every guy knows to lie on that type of stuff. It's fucking ridiculous. So, this is an easy one. If you stay with this guy, then, you deserve a life full of misery.
Yeah, I think the biggest advice, like, for relationships is, ladies, don't ever be in a relationship with a dude who wouldn't tell his mom or dad to fuck off in your defense. And fellas, if you're going to be in a relationship with a woman, don't be in a serious relationship with a woman that you wouldn't tell your mom or dad to fuck off if you needed to.
Right. Point. And I think, perhaps there's a thing too, that don't be in a relationship with a woman that would put your mom through that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, like, especially if you have parents.
If everybody's doing normal shit.
Yeah. If you have parents who are a little bit older, right? You know what I mean? Like, stuck in their ways. Like, I remember my mom was ironing my t-shirts before I left for high school in the winter and stuff like that. And she thought the sun rose and set inside our big fat Irish asses. So I know that she was probably a little bit difficult on our girlfriends growing up, but if you stick with it, you get to be part of a wonderful family. I mean, my mom and dad are the most wonderful people in the world. So I think there is a little bit of a give and take, right? Particularly when this girl is new and you don't know if it's going to be a relationship that's now
3.5 years ain't new though.
3.5 years, you're right, is 100% not new. And so again, the onus is all on him, and actually the onus is on her, because he's an asshole.
Gotta get out.
Walk away.
Saving for a down payment on a house together. This is the best thing that could have happened to you, is being number 14 behind best friend number 4.
Because you're gonna break up. You got 2 years left max. You're gonna break up, and you're either gonna break up and have to divide the assets after you bought a house, or you're just gonna move out of your apartment. Those are your options, really.
I have a question for you. What do you, if before you propose to someone, where should you be on her favorites list for her phone? Should you be number 1? Could you live with being number 2 or 3 behind, say, the family and the family phone or whatever? Is there any, even like a best friend that was going to be her maid of honor or her like sister? Are you all right being like top 5 outside of that top 5? I feel like my wife is number 1 of my favorites in phone. She has been since we were still dating. but I want to know where you guys think you fit in there, because I think that's kind of the closest thing you could have to a list.
I think you have a big problem if you're in a serious relationship, a long-term relationship, if at any point in that relationship they become not your number one. I think it's a big issue. Even if you've been married 10, 15 years, if you start to realize this person that I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with has become number 2 in my power rankings of importance, I feel like that's something that you have to address right away. And I definitely don't believe that you're at the step for marriage if it's not your number 1 person. I think it should be number 1 with a bullet, like way and ahead of everybody else.
Please don't get married if it's not number 1.
Right.
Like, that's the whole thing too. Even if your biological clock is ticking, or if you want to have a baby or something like that, you don't pretend that you want to get. It's a 100% non-selfish relationship. So if you don't want to go through that with someone, if you don't want to put them as number 1 in your fucking phone or on your power rankings or whatever, particularly after 3.5 years, and some people it happens a lot quicker. Please don't get married. You should not be married. And that's okay, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay, because divorce is expensive. You know what I mean? And the reason it's expensive is because it's usually pretty awesome. Like, you know what I mean? It gets it. So just don't fucking get married.
And getting married should not feel like an obligation. Like, I think that we hear from a lot of dudes that are like, oh, we've been dating for 2.5 years. I feel like I got to bite the bullet and go ahead and get married. If you feel like you're doing a chore, or if you're fulfilling an obligation to this person, that's probably not the person that you should be married to.
There are multiple people I know who broke off their engagement as they were planning the wedding, and they've all said, on the other side of it, best thing I ever did. Because like you said, Large, divorce is expensive, and the fucking wedding is expensive too. And you're doing both of those things just to be back in square one, where you wouldn't have to deal with any of that shit if you just rip the Band-Aid off before.
And your family knows, dude. Like, if you're in one of those relationships and you're engaged, your family knows that you're making a mistake, but they're just too kind to say it for the most part.
They're whispering, I know they like Best Friend 4 more than you.
Right.
They just want to say it to your face.
You hear guys who are like, listen, I'm either going to break up with her or I'm going to marry her.
Well, then break up with her.
Just break up with her, man.
Right.
Honestly, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Kicking that other can down the road.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. But for 3 guys that are in a lovely matrimonial bliss right now with children, we're going to get into our show and tell Father's Day edition, and that is going to be brought to you by our friends at NASCAR. The face of Barstool NASCAR just happens to reside in this podcast. How beautiful is that?
We're going to Nashville, baby. We're going to Nashville this week. Sonoma 2 weeks ago was the best destination I've ever been for NASCAR. The race was just okay. It was a road race, and it was spread out. So there wasn't much lead changes. There wasn't any rubbing. There were no accidents. There was just 2 stoppages. Both were caused by non-contact. It's going to change this week because they call it a super speedway down in Nashville, but it's not like a super speedway. Talladega's like 2.6 miles. Daytona's like 2.5 miles. This is technically a big oval, but it's only 1.3 miles. So it's called a short super speedway down in Nashville. And it's going to be
not as weird as when
race.
They did it at the Rose Bowl, right? Or the
Oh my God. In the Coliseum,
Yeah.
Those short tracks, even Bristol, different types of racing. This one is that in between short track and super speedway. That's perfect for racing. So we're going, I'm going down on Saturday morning. I think Glennie's going down there tonight. We're meeting up with Will Compton, me, Spider, Will Compton. Glennie Balls is going to be there because apparently he's the king of Nashville. And we're going to be watching the race on Sunday. And the race starts kind of late. It's Sunday, June 26th. It starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be on NBC, right? Because then NBA is over. NFL hasn't started yet. So they're pushing it out there. So it'll be 4 o'clock in Nashville, 5 p.m. Eastern time on NBC. It's the NASCAR Cup Series from the Nashville Superspeedway on Sunday, June 26th, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be down there trying to cover everything the day before. As far as Nashville, we're going to tear it up. And then once we get there, boots on the grounds, we'll be down in the pits doing all that stuff. And we're going to be doing it with the newest Podfather, Will Compton, that handsome son of a bitch. So that's when I'll put the bug in his ear, and we'll have him on the show, toot sweet.
Beautiful. Love to hear it. All right. So let's go through our Father's Day gifts, our bounties from Sunday. Daddy Boy Chaps, you lead us off here, kid.
All right. So this year, Annalise did something different, and I love it, and I hope it becomes a tradition until McCartney is old enough for it not to be a tradition. But they just went in because we're at the point now where gifts season, like Christmas, Father's Day, birthday, you're just basically making shit up, because if you want something by and large throughout the year, you're just going to get it. So she gave McCartney a budget and just told McCartney, we're going to go to Walmart. I'm going to give you this budget. Whatever you want to buy Dad inside this money, you could do it, but make sure it's something that he's going to like for Father's Day. And so I got this cookie jar a couple weeks ago. I think I showed you guys the Willy Wonka.
No,
cookie
this
jar.
is new. I did not see this.
Oh yeah. So I got this cookie jar, Willy Wonka, that I keep down in my office.
The golden ticket.
Yeah. And McCartney was like, it's too, I don't want you to get bugs in your office, so we're not going to put cookies in there. So they just got me a bunch of my favorite candies and like filled up my cookie jar.
Oh, Chapsy, tell the people who are listening what your favorite candy is.
Oh, my two favorite candies are Paydays and Almond Joys are my two favorite.
Poor
candies.
rankings are coming out for this one.
Yeah. Well, this is Annalise always makes fun of me for Paydays because it is poor mouth. Because whenever we would go to like the dollar store or Winn-Dixie, these are always in the clearance. So I just kind of learned to like them. And now I really do like Paydays a lot. And Almond Joys are delicious because I like coconut and chocolate. Well, we got that. And then McCartney got some shorts. Like they have the same shorts for adults and children, where it's dinosaur sweatpants shorts. And we both got them. So we just cruise around the house. We were playing Sunday afternoon after the day in the pool. We went upstairs and got in our dinosaur PJ sweatpants and played the Ninja Turtle game on Xbox. It was fucking, and I was 3-cheat up too. Had one of those in the pool. So I was doing a little 3-cheat, playing a little Ninja Turtles, and it's the old school game, Clem. I'm not sure if you played the new one.
I've seen that Xbox. They have it. It's like a side scroller. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's essentially the same exact game that we played growing up, where you only have to hit like a couple buttons. So going through it and Cardi picking Donatello, I'm Michelangelo, obviously, and we're just having the best time eating on Paydays, Almond Joys, and fucking around. It was great. It was probably $20 worth of presents, and it was fantastic. Best I've gotten in a long time.
Awesome. I love the matching outfits thing. That's incredible. And the kids have just gotten into the Street Fighter game that I have. I have the arcade game here, and AJ's always Blanca, Sienna's Chun-Li, and then AJ was upstairs fighting with me. He goes, Dad, let's fight. And he was acting like Blanca. He was doing the electricity stuff. And I go, who am I? He goes, you're the guy with the big belly. So I was E Honda, obviously. And to be fair, I was shirtless, which is a horrifying sight for any kid to see. And we just like fake fought each other. And then we were doing sonic booms and stuff like that. So all the old school shit. AJ watches Ninja Turtles 2, Chapsy. That's fucking awesome. So yeah, that's a good game for people to get, is the old Ninja Turtles game.
I think largest kids are too old, but Clem, your kids are about to be in perfect zone to show them what Street Fighter is. I've been showing Cardi what Street Fighter is too. And now if I need McCartney to come upstairs to get something, like coming upstairs to eat, I'll be like, Hadouken! And get her to come up, to get McCartney to come upstairs. It's great.
That's awesome. Big man, what did you get from the kids?
Get over here.
Get over here.
I was traveling 2 weeks ago, and when I know I'm going to be smoking cigars on the road, I bring a tiny little pocket knife. Honestly, the pocket knife is this big, and it's about the size of a small nail clipper, and I put it in my DOP kit. I've never been stopped going through security, and I just carry it in my back pocket, and I honestly just use it to kick off the end of a cigar as opposed to bringing a cutter with me. And I was in Sonoma with Con, so I had like 3 cigars that weekend. I'm going through security, and Annie was under the impression that if you had an unopened bottle of sunscreen and you put it in a Ziploc bag, that they couldn't take it away from you. I was flying American Air, but it was farmed out to Alaskan Air. So she went on Alaskan Air and found that out, and she put it in my carry-on. I didn't check any bags. I was like, I don't think that's true. Goes through the metal detector, boom, goes off. They pull out a bag with like a 16-ounce bottle of SPF 90. And they're like, I'm like, my wife said I could do it. They were like, we can't. Boom. They're like, we're going to run it through one more time. After they did, I said, okay, cool. They find my little pen knife. And they're like, you can't have this. I said, oh, okay. I was going to be like, it's less than a finger or whatever. I was like, throw it away. It's like a $15 knife, but it was cool looking. So I'm checking in with the kids because I'm on the road, and I'm talking to Finn. I was like, Finn, I just got my knife taken away. It's one of my favorites. I was like, so for Father's Day, did you do anything yet? He's like, no. I was like, this is the website that I go to buy knives. I won't give them a free plug because they don't give me free shit at all. And I was like, get me one, like one that I can do. He's like, cool. I was like, tell Mom I said it, and blah, blah, blah. That's what I want. And so so I do it. And honestly got a pen knife. And this is what he gets me.
Can't take that on a plane.
No,
It's still pretty cool though.
No, absolutely, it's fucking balls. You know what I mean? Yeah,
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and
that's the kind, you need to have one of those. You remember in Dennis the Menace where you have the hobo that's sitting underneath the train, like the little bridge, and he takes his pocket knife out and eats an apple, and he just looks like a badass. If you start taking the subway and you start eating an apple with that knife, people are gonna fear you.
And I know this place is they're notorious for giving you free gifts. Like whenever you do it, they'll give you like an off-colored knife, like one of those rainbow like reflective things. I order from them all the time. So he got a free gift because the knife wasn't cheap. And he's like, Dad, can I keep the free gift? I was like, that all depends, Finn. What is it? He's like, oh, it's this self-defense stun gun flashlight. This was the free gift.
That's pretty good.
That sound, holy shit.
Jeez.
I can't even figure out how it's a flashlight. Like once you turn off the stun element, there is no light involved. And then once you put on it, is that what you do when you're looking for your keys?
But that's great to put in your purse. If you're a lady going around different places, it's perfect size because it's very like you would never think that that's a stun gun.
Yeah, and it's an LED thing. So anywho. So that's
the person you stunned has lights coming out of every orifice of their body after you stun them. That's how you use it as a flashlight. Holy shit. And the best part about it is, since you asked for that, your son, Finn, now has an account on that website. So whenever he wants to
I gave him all my shit so I can get my points. I belong, how I would never belong to a club that would have me as a member. But I belong to only a few of those when you go up to the counter, everyone has a frequent flyer card and stuff like that. Stu Leonard's is one of them for the free ice cream. I don't care what comments he made. This knife place is another one. And then the fireworks store. The fireworks store, I'm the frequent pyro is what they call it. The frequent pyro club or something like that. Keystone Fireworks in Metamoris.
I only have one or two, and one of them is at the butcher shop that I go to all the time. And if you once you spend like, I think it's like $500 or $1,000 or something like that, you get a free ribeye. You could just pick one out of the case. It's fantastic.
And I mean, even like old school butchers, like even if they have like a card that you hand over and they punch it out still, because they're not doing the beep, beep, beep thing yet. And I had one, I used to do one for a car wash too. We got like the free car washes and they would clip those off and stuff. So that's that.
All right, now Clemmy's bringing out his stuff. He's going through a paper bag like he's about to wrap a textbook.
All right, so this is what I got for Father's Day. I got a card from AJ, handwritten.
Love it.
Got a heart, I think a flag, maybe a lollipop. AJ, something that resembles Dad. I said, "What is this?" He goes, "I tried to spell your name. I don't know what that is. AJ backwards, but that makes it even cuter when they spell backwards." I got this from Sienna, some sort of a card. It's like a lizard or something.
Oh yeah, it's creative.
Nice.
Dad, I got another card. Dad, you're flipping awesome. And then it says, "Happy Father's Day. Have a great day." I always love when they misspell.
Isn't it strange now? Because when I was a kid and I looked at giving my parents a card, I thought, there's no way they actually fucking like this piece of shit. And now that I'm actually a dad, I'm like, I love this stuff. Bring on the cards.
I got a fourth card. This one is actually my favorite. It's the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos, and she took a bunch of like little random beads and made the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, that's super sweet.
Happy Dad Day. So that one I did like. I got another card. I was just going through cards the entire fucking day. Best daddy, hands down. Love AJ. And then I got one of these. I'm hooked on Dad. It's like the thing they do at preschool where they answer these things are so fucking skewed. They're made to embarrass the dads. This one wasn't too bad, but all about my dad by AJ. My daddy's name is Babe. So I'm guessing that's
sweet.
He is 2 feet tall and he weighs 29 pounds. Thank you, AJ. He has yellow hair and brown eyes. Now, this is where I'm starting to get a little concerned about things.
Who is this motherfucker that he's talking about?
That's the UPS man. He likes to go out to eat. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. His favorite thing to do is to play Mario games with me. His favorite thing to drink is water. His favorite food is everything. That's a burn. That's a tip.
Like an own.
That's a burn.
For fun, he likes to bring me to the bouncy playhouse and the ball pit. Nice. My daddy's best friend is me. I love my daddy because he gives me kisses. I love my daddy.
Just
So
wait till he hears about all the shit that you've been talking about him
Yeah.
on this podcast. He's like, I said 15 nice things, and this piece of shit says I don't even have my pinstripes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm last in the rankings my entire fucking life. And then we actually got into the gift portion of it after all the cards were finally opened. I got 3 keychains, Captain America, Thor, and a thing from AJ that says Happy Father's Day. I love you. These are from like the school store. Do you guys have those where the school store they do that? Sienna got me a pumpkin grow kit so I can grow my own pumpkin. I'm kind of excited about that. I got a plain blue hat that Velcro. She said
that might be better than Kevin's Mets hat.
Yeah, right.
Just a plain blue hat has very Tony Romo, but
yeah, I'm Tony Romo. Basically.
Has dandruff vibes.
She did say that. She said I could put whatever I want. She wants to put the Barstool logo on it.
I think you leave it plain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last, this was honestly my favorite thing. She made me a baby Yoda with just random garbage that was laying around my parents' house. A couple cups and some dry pasta that fell on the floor.
Pretty good again.
Yeah.
It's very creative.
So that was the Father's Day gifts here. I think we all big wins. All big wins. I mean, large. I'll buy you the one to get you on the plane with that knife if you need it. But definitely all W's around here today for Father's Day. So
I'm gonna try and get on with this.
So as always, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay safe and stay sane out there. We'll see you guys next week.